my name, if you still don't know yet, my name is Edwin, and I'm one of the youth leaders here at TiVo. So for you to get to know me a little bit more, so here's how the internet describes people named Edwin, okay? So, okay, I'm gonna praise myself for a moment. So here goes. Okay, Edwin is an amazing guy. Woohoo! Okay, so he can sometimes hide in the shadows, but he really is a good person. He has a creative mind, a good heart. His sense of humor is amazing and can make anyone laugh. He takes a while to warm up to new people, but then he is the best friend you will ever have. Awesome. So he prioritizes the people he is closest to in life. He always will listen to what you have to say and be there for you. He's the type of person everyone needs in their life. He's the best person you'll ever meet. Never get rid of him. Yay! So turn to the friend beside you and say, Edwin is the best person you'll meet. I feel better now, right? Okay, jokes aside. Okay, actual facts about me, right? So just 3. One is I am the youngest of 3 children. So all the youngest child here, cheer! Woo! Okay, we have a few young children, right? Okay, number 2 is that I have an adorable 4-year-old niece named Tiffany. Is she there? Aww. She's a drummer already. No, she's very adorable. But every time when she comes to my house, right, she will make a huge mess in my room. So the funny story is right. A few weeks ago, she decided to build. So with everything in my room, she built a fortress. She called it a fortress, okay. And she employed 2 stuffed toy bodyguards. If you have a photo, you can show them. Yes, that's the fortress she has at the corner of my room with 2 staff bodyguards there, okay? And told me, right, that if I ever want to step into the fortress, right, I have to pay $1 entrance fee. Wait, it's not annoying, okay? She's a future businesswoman, right? Okay, think positively. Okay, so the third fact is that when I was 7 years old, my dream was actually to be a bus captain when I grew up. You're not impressed, right? But to me back then, right, it was the coolest job. I get to drive a huge vehicle, I get to transport people around. And I ever dreamed that one day I will fetch all my primary school friends, right, to play at the old Escape theme park. Which I think some of you are even too young to know what is Escape theme park. So which brings me to what I want to talk about today. The title of my message is Dreams. So we are going to go on a journey to find out God's dream for us and what we can do to actualize it. But first, what are dreams? So I don't mean the kind of dream when you go and sleep and then you have this experience like, oh, I'm dreaming. And certainly not daydreaming, when you're just lost in your thoughts. So hopefully that's not you right now. Or not, just smile at your friends sitting beside you, just check if they are daydreaming. Are they okay? Okay, smile at them. Yeah, so the dreams that I'm talking about is about your life goals, your ambition, your purpose, or the future you're hoping for. So the Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines dream as something that you have wanted very much to do, be, or have for a long time, or to consider as a possibility. So some of us might have dreams for a specific career, such as being an entrepreneur, a doctor, an actor or singer, or becoming TikTok famous. Or like my 7-year-old self, I wanted to be a bus captain. Some of us might have dreams for a lifetime goal, such as traveling around the world. Some of us might have dreams for an equal and just world through social justice work. Dreams are something we all experience in our lives. And the conversation about our dreams can become more interesting when we add in the idea of God, our faith. We begin to have questions like, what has God got to do with my dreams? Does God care about my dreams? Does God have a say about my dream? How does it all connect? How do we connect dreams and faith? So dreaming is a core part of who we are. And true, not all of our dreams come from God, and not all of them are God's will for our lives. But the capacity to use our imagination, to have visions, to nurture desires is inherent in who God has designed us to be. So to understand God's dream for us, we first need to realize that each of us sitting right here, we are purposefully designed by God. So Psalms 139, verses 13 to 16, it says, "Oh yes, you shaped me first inside, then out. You formed me in my mother's womb. I thank you, high God, you're breathtaking. Body and soul I am marvelously made. I worship in adoration, what a creation. You know me inside and out. You know every bone in my body. You know exactly how I was made, bit by bit, how I was sculpted from nothing into something. Like an open book, you watch me grow from conception to birth. All the stages of my life were spread out before you. the days of my life all prepared before I even lived one day. So God knows everything about us. God designed our body, every cell, every bone, the size of your eyes, the size of your feet. He even knows the exact number of hairs you have on the head. God designed our soul, who we are as a person, our personality, our strengths, our weaknesses, our passions, our taste buds, our intelligence. God designed all these parts and pieced them together to form us, human beings. So similarly, God who designed your body and soul is also the God who designed a specific plan and purpose for your life on earth. Which brings me to my first point today. God has a unique dream for you. So Jeremiah 29:11, it says, I have it all planned out, plans to take care of you, not abandon you, plans to give you the future you hope for. So while designing us, God also planned out our purpose here on earth. A unique dream that is customized just for you. And only you can live into that dream. So how can we discover that dream? There are two ways. So the first is having a connection with God, the one who designed you. So recently, Microsoft released their new OS, Windows 11. So I'm the kind of guy who likes to have my stuff updated to the latest one. So being me, I immediately updated my laptop on the night it was released. By the way, a wise advice for everyone. Never jump on the latest update on your devices because it's usually not quite stable yet. So, you know what? I was excited about the new look, the new functions, but when I first logged into my computer, I was completely horrified. Everything was very different, and I had a hard time navigating my way around my laptop. And my laptop audio began to have these weird cracking noises because the audio drivers couldn't support the OS yet. So I began panicking, and I had to constantly Google for answers, but because the OS is so new, there were more users reporting problems than actual solutions. So what I had to do is I had to contact the Microsoft support team, and they arranged a virtual session to go through the new features and troubleshoot my existing problems. Now my laptop is working fine, and I've gained knowledge of the new features and how to utilize it for better productivity. You see, the most effective and efficient way to discover the full features and to troubleshoot my problems was to connect with the people who created the OS, the Microsoft team. Similarly, for you to discover God's dream in your life, you've got to connect with the one who designed you, God. So Matthew 7, verses 7 to 8, it says, ask and you will receive, search and you will find, knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, whoever seeks finds, and to everyone who knocks, the door is opened. So God is inviting us to ask Him questions and to find out more from Him directly. Connecting to God Himself is the best way for you to know His dreams for us. So sitting here, you say you want to have a connection with God and you want to know His dreams for you. We have a moment later for you to invite God into your lives. So the first way to discover God's dream is to have a connection with Him. The second way is find clues in your life. So Ephesians 2, verse 10, it says, for we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus so we can do the good things He planned for us long ago. So together with the earlier passage of Psalm, we know that we are purposefully designed by God. We are God's masterpiece. And we can find clues in our lives by recognizing the innate things, our strengths, our talents, our passions, our personalities. And God designed and weaved all these things into us before we were born. And as we grow up, we nurture them through life experiences you have at home, in school, in the society. So remember my dream when I was 7 years old? So reflecting back, becoming a bus captain was a clue in discovering God's dream for my life. So more than just wanting to have fun and play with my friends, I wanted to be with people. I wanted to lead people I love to discover joy in their lives. And of course, to have play and have fun together. And that was the same case throughout my secondary school and my poly times. So my CCA was symphonic band. So I enjoyed playing and performing to people. The satisfaction I get from creating beautiful music with my friends and bringing joy to people was tremendous. And it is the same today. Being with people here in TiVo brings me joy and gives me the opportunity to inspire joy in others. And as I began to see the clue of what I'm passionate about, I began to discover God's dream in my life, which is to inspire joy in others in all the things that I do. Friends, I want to encourage you to start finding clues in your life. Start by asking, what makes me happy? What is my passion? What are my strengths and talents, something I am innately good at? What about the dreams in the past that made me excited? When we start to identify these clues, we begin to see a glimpse of who God has designed us to be. We begin to discover God's dreams for our lives. So just a little bit more about God's dream for us. Discovering God's dream for us isn't necessarily the end of your dreams. Instead, the process elevates that dream. So some of us here, we might be afraid of God's dream for our lives. That we are fearful that knowing God's dream will turn our lives upside down, inside out. And I want to say, yes, there could be some instances where God gives us a dream that flips our lives. But this usually happens when in the process of life, we make certain decisions that cause us to go off tangent with what God has planned. But most of the time, God, the one who purposefully designed us, wants you to flourish being you. And in the process, God elevates your dream to flourish in who He designed you to be. In fact, the Bible is full of stories of ordinary people like us who went on to achieve great dreams in their lives. Moses in the Bible lived in a time where his people were enslaved to the Egyptians. But Moses was raised in the house of the Egyptian king. And God put a dream in his life. He eventually stood before royalty and rescued his people from slavery. King David, who was good at taking care of sheep in the fields, God put a dream in his life, went on to become the youngest king of Israel and took care of God's people. Apostle Peter was just an average fisherman, but God put a dream in his life. Peter became a gifted preacher and leader whom he had brought many people to know God. And there is a youth in Tivo who God had elevated her dreams, and she is Ashley. And she is also our bassist on our worship team. So when Ashley was in primary school, her dream was to become a professional basketball player. So she was just focused on honing her skills to be better than other players, to win competitions. But when she had a relationship with God and this community, she began to discover that she enjoys teaching and helping others whenever she's part of a team. Whether it's helping youth to succeed when planning events or teaching youth skills to serve each other better in church. God elevated her dream by giving her a bigger purpose and meaning to it. So instead of just being a good basketballer herself, now she wants to teach and help newer players to succeed. So like Ashley, some of you might have big dreams in life. In the process of discovering God's dream for you, God will give you a bigger purpose. So now that we know God has a dream for us, how can we prepare for that dream? What can we do to work towards it? So my second point for you is learn to play the long game. So God's dream for us lasts a lifetime. It is a long game. And there are two key ingredients that we need to prepare for the long game. Firstly, be prepared to work hard. So Steph Curry is an NBA superstar playing for the Golden State Warriors. So just this week, he had broken the all-time record to become the number one player with the most three-pointers made at 2,974 shots. But Steph Curry's success wasn't overnight. It was accumulation of years and years and years of hard work. When Steph Curry was younger, under his father Del Curry's training, he had to make at least 500 shots every day. And during the recent off-season, Steph Curry relied on shot tracking technology to train, which the technology determined that not all of his shots that made the baskets were created equal. So each time Steph Curry hoisted a shot, the technology tracked the ball's movement, the ball's arc, and how deep the ball went into the rim. And if the ball failed to drop through the middle of the rim, Steph Curry simply counted that attempt as a missed shot. And he had to try again. And furthermore, if he made 10 shots and they are outside of that window, that time period, then he have to do 10 more for that drill. So in one of the interview, when asked how did he achieve his success, he said, if you take time to realize what your dream is and what you really want in life, no matter what it is, whether it's sports or it's other fields, you have to realize that there is always work to do. And you want to be the hardest working person in whatever you do. And you put yourself in a position to be successful. And you have to have a passion about what you do. Basketball was mine, and that's what carried me to this point. Wow, isn't that amazing? Friends, if you truly want to live into God's dream for your life, you've got to work hard. And the second ingredient we need is to have patience. It's something that all the Gen Z will relate to this. So a story in the Bible about a man named Joseph. So when Joseph was 17 years old, he had dreams from God. So we're just going to read it from Genesis 37, verses 5 to 11. So Joseph had a dream. When he told it to his brothers, they hated him even more. He said, "Listen to this dream I had. We were all out in the field gathering bundles of weeds. All of a sudden, my bundle stood straight up, and your bundle circled around it and bowed down to mine." So his brother said, "So, you're going to rule us? You're going to boss us around?" And they hated him more than ever because of his dreams and, of course, and the way he talked. He has some EQ there, right? So he had another dream and told this one also to his brothers. You want to agitate them further, right? So I dreamed another dream. The sun and the moon and 11 stars bowed down to me. So when he told it to his fathers and brothers, his father reprimanded him. "What's with all this dreaming? Am I and your mother and your brothers all supposed to bow down to you?" Now his brothers were all really jealous, but his father brooded over the whole business. So Joseph, this guy, had a dream from God that he was going to be this amazing person, right? That everyone's going to bow down to him. Which God actually meant that he's going to be a leader of God's people. So perhaps he could share it in a better way, okay? But the story continues that his brother hated him for his dreams. They plotted to get rid of him and sold him into slavery in Egypt, where he was thrown into prison. Joseph ended up working for Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officials, which is like a minister. So even though Joseph never understood all that was happening at that time, he continued to be patient and trusted that God would work out a plan at the right time. So Psalms 105:19, it says, "Until the time came to fulfill his dreams, the Lord tested Joseph's character." In fact, as we continue to read the story of Joseph, you realize that he went through many, many, many difficult moments. So imagine me today, right? God gave you a dream to be a leader. The next moment, you've been thrown into jail. How would you have responded? But Joseph, this guy, he is really amazing. Despite all the tragedy that happened to him, he remained patient and worked hard to make the best of every situation he was in. And eventually, after 13 years, God lifted Joseph up to a great power and responsibility. Not only was he a leader of his people, he ruled over the people of Egypt too. Patience was needed to allow God to accomplish his purposes in the life of Joseph and his family. Friends, to live in God's dream for your lives, you've got to have patience. Patience, as defined by the dictionary, is the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, problems, or sufferings without becoming annoyed or anxious. Having patience is to commit yourself to the small incremental improvements compared to the big, massive changes. Especially in this day and age, most of us here has been raised on instant gratification. So thanks to our phones and our fast-paced life, right? You have a question, you Google, you get an answer. You want some food, grab food, then 15 minutes you get a doorstep. And this type of ebb and flow in our generation creates a build-up of impatience and annoyance. Right? Every time you see a loading or redirecting, you become immediately upset. And the average person will only wait 6 seconds on a loading screen before giving up. I can feel that. And this need for instant gratification can be very unhealthy. And because of our need for everything to be instant, we carry the same expectation in living out our dreams. We want to achieve God's dream for us in the shortest, quickest way possible. We get excited, we do a major overhaul in our lives. We flip our schedules upside down, squeezing all our time to make our dreams happen. Sure, we see immediate results for the first few weeks. But after a while the results slow down, we lose motivation, we give up. Friends, instead of massive change, I want to encourage you to take small, incremental changes. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, suggests the power of tiny gains, which is to make 1% improvement every single day towards our goals and our dreams. He says, if you get 1% better each day for 1 year, you'll end up 37 times better by the time you are done. So to put into context for God's dream in our lives, if we commit to make the habit of becoming 1% better, growing in our skills, our character, our attitude, we will accelerate 37 times towards our dreams. For Joseph, it took him 13 years, at least 13 years, before he started to see God's dream coming to pass. For you, it could take 5, 10, 20, or even 50 years. But as we choose to be patient and commit to work hard right now, we will get there. Right? Slowly, but surely. So just a recap, now we know that God has a unique dream for you, and to fulfill that dream, we got to learn to play the long game. So it sounds like God's dream for us is this tough and tiring journey. But here's an encouragement, which is point number 3, you're not alone. So turn to your neighbors and say, you're not alone. So Hebrews 10:23-25, it says, let us hold tightly without wavering to the hope we affirm. For God can be trusted to keep his promise. Let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works. And let us not neglect our meeting together, as some people do. But encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing near. We are not meant to do life alone. We are designed to do life together. That's why we have this community, the Evolution. Let me take a moment to just praise the Evolution, right? I've got to say, TiVo is 100% no doubt the best place to be in. Here, we celebrate each other's success. We help each other out when one of us is going through a rut. We help each other fulfill God's dream for us. We believe that young people are leaders of today, and we create space for them to lead, to learn, and to live. We mentor youths to succeed in your lives, to live into God's dream for you. So personally, TiVo has changed my life, and doing life with people here has helped me discover and work towards God's dream for me. So my dream is to lead and grow youth to become their better selves, so that they can truly find joy in life. And for the past 10 years in TiVo, PC and the leaders had always believed in me and took time and lots of patience in mentoring me to become a better leader for others. Even as I prepare my message for today, I have the team, Zihan, Regina, Christine, who help me refine so that I can give my best to you. I have my bros here like Clement, Jingxiang, Jia Wu, whom I can do life together. So we encourage each other whenever one of us is down. We celebrate each other's success. We have fun together. And I am truly thankful to everyone in TiVo because you guys inspire me to become a better human, a better friend, a better leader. So to inspire you a bit more, one of our youth here is going to come up to share his story about how finding God and TiVo has changed his life. So it is his first time, so let's encourage him, let's smile, and let's cheer for him. Let's put a smile on our face and welcome Darius up.
Hello everyone, my name is Darius. I'm a Secondary 2 student from Yishun Town Secondary School, and today I would like to share with you guys how knowing God has helped me become a better person. So before coming to church, I was a very negative person. I was quiet by nature and took a while to open up. To some, I might come off as unapproachable at times. And in primary school, I was not very considerate towards my friends. When they made mistakes or said anything wrong, I would scold or blame them without thinking about how they felt. So part of the reason was I felt I needed to protect myself too. So you see, my school has a lot of cliques. Almost everyone, even people I was close with, would gossip and talk behind each other people's backs. Relationships were always very petty, and I knew that if they would backstab others with me, they would do it to me one day as well. So as a result, I never felt truly comfortable around my friends and became increasingly negative. However, the fact that I can share this with you guys so openly today is because of how I have changed after coming to church. I grew up as a free thinker and thought that I would remain this way for the rest of my life. I never knew much about religion, and it seemed super traditional, like wooden benches, a big cross on the wall. Maybe church was a good thing or a good influence for me, but I just thought it wasn't my thing. Lucky for me, I first came to The Evolution in 2017, when I was still in primary 4. So my sister Riley asked me to join her for a laser tag event here at church. And which 10-year-old doesn't like laser tag? So I agreed, and I loved it. Even though I was worried about meeting new people, I found the people here really friendly, and I got to know Edwin, Kaliang, and many other guys in church. And they took the time to get to know me. Thanks to them, I immediately felt welcome, and over the next few years, I came for a few more events and outings, and I slowly became more open to learning about God. But it will still be 4 more years later, in September 2020, when I actually started on my personal journey with Jesus. So you see, I still felt worried about being awkward around people and that I didn't know well, so I would only come to The Evolution when it was together with my sister. But one of those days that I decided to come for gathering, it happened that she was on duty, and suddenly I had to be by myself. It wasn't easy, but again, because everyone here was so nice, I felt like things would be okay. So much so that during the praise and worship, I even tried speaking to God, saying that I wanted to hear from Him, but nothing spectacular happened. But for some reason, from that day onwards, I decided to come back for more gatherings. The change in me was gradual at first, but friends here were so different in the way they cared, and this inspired me to be like them. I wanted to go the extra mile for others, and through messages, relationships, and my leader Edwin, I learned how I could be a better friend. But the best part was, when we did the 21 days of prayer together as a church this year, it was during one of those sessions that I asked God to help me grow as a person. And suddenly, my mind was filled with so much clarity. I just became aware of God in my life, and my head was full of ideas and solutions. It was like I finally found what I was looking for all along. So that was how I knew it wasn't just my own thoughts, but it had to be God. Since then, I've been so motivated to change things up. In school, I stopped scolding vulgarities, and even if people were being toxic, I decided not to join in. As a result, my friends who saw it started to follow along with me because there were more of us wanting to be different from our school culture. I felt less guarded and more positive about my friendships. I started to serve in church too. Right now, I am a part of the church experience team and the video editing team that helped put together the film that you guys just watched. So not only have I learned so many new skills, serving helped me grow closer to the people in church as well. Looking back, I realized that coming to church has grown me so much. I think for everyone, the past few years of COVID have forced us to grow and adapt. My experience of transiting from primary school to secondary school was not what I expected. Next year, as I start secondary 3, everything feels like a big question mark. However, I will always be thankful to the friends that I have in this community. To my CG, my leaders, and everyone here, thank you for inspiring me to be a better person, for making me feel at home and making my experience here so fun. I also want to thank God because I'm so excited for what will come in the future and for what else I will hear and learn from Him. To everyone here, I want to encourage you to relax and enjoy the day. You will find the most amazing people here, and the experience might just change your life, just like it did for me. Thank you.
Oh, was that so powerful? You know, he's only like 14, just turned 14 actually. Alright. You see, we have great people here. Friends who are genuine towards each other. Friends who you are inspired by because of the way they are passionate in serving each other. Passionate in the way we worship God. So you might be sitting here because your friend have asked you to join us to celebrate Christmas together. But I also want to encourage you that this gathering is also an invitation for you to be part of this awesome community.